welcome to this demo on 24Planning. So I've opened up the 24Planning app. It has multiple tabs. Most of them have to do with the setup and configuration. For this demo, we'll stick to the 24Planning app that contains the actual planning view. On the left-hand side here, we see resources. So in our case, these are people. Those people have been grouped in teams, which we call data sources. So in this case, I have a team East and a team West. And we're going to schedule work orders. We call this events that we schedule in the planning board. So we're looking here at a week view. So I'm looking at the calendar from Monday to Friday. And here in the top level menu, I can, for example, move forward to the next week. And by clicking the back arrow, move to the previous week. I have a date picker to immediately navigate to particular dates. I can work with multiple data sets in 24Planning. So I have here an employee planning as well as a meeting room planning. We'll stick to employee planning, which I've also pinned as my favorite planning view. I can work with multiple views. So I have a day view. I can go all the way up to a year view, but let's stick to the 1 week view here as part of the demo. On the left-hand side, I can filter on the resources. For example, if I would only like to see the working schedule of Alfred and Linda, I can use a filter. I can filter on the team as well. And I can also filter on events. So here on the top right-hand side, I have a filter. And if I, for example, enter a 1, my view will be limited to those work orders that have a 1 as part of their name. So let's remove the filter again. You see here in the planning view that we can highlight certain events. So for example, here a national holiday, and you see also the gray bars running from top to bottom, which indicate non-working time. So I can use 24Planning in such a way that I'm not allowed to schedule work outside of working hours. You can also see that we can model dependencies between events, which you see by the arrows. And when I double click on an event, I can see the details of the event. I could, for example, use this interface to allocate it to another person, or I could, for example, extend or shorten the time frame needed to execute a certain event. I can reschedule the event just by dragging and dropping it, for example, to another day here. But while I would like to reschedule outside of working hours, you see that I'm getting an error here. Similarly, I cannot allocate it to another data source, to another team. So let's move it back here. In case I would like to move multiple events at the same time, that's pretty straightforward. I just select multiple events and I can start dragging and dropping them at the same time. I can right click on an event, for example, to delete it, and I can right click on an empty space to create a new event. So let's make this an event of 2 hours, and let's save it, and I have a new event created. The next thing I'm going to show you is how we work with unplanned events. So I have a hamburger menu here at the top right hand side. So when I click on it, I open up unplanned events. And these are events that I can plan by dragging and dropping. So for example, if I take the WO5 here, I could schedule it here, but when I would schedule it to another team, that would not work. So let's just drag and drop it here, and the event is getting planned. So let's remove the hamburger menu again. The final thing I'm going to show you as part of this demo is color coding. As you may have noticed, we have the events here colored in different colors. Green means everything is fine. In this particular context, orange means that Alfred does not have the right competences to execute his work order. So for example, if I move it to another date, that will not help. It will remain orange. But when I allocate the work order to somebody else, you will notice that it turns green. So Linda has the right competences. Red has been defined to mean holidays. So Joe is apparently on holiday on Wednesday. So when I move the work order to Thursday, it turns green again. You can define your own color codes, and you can use Salesforce flows or formulas to compute these color codes.